We're going to start with our crocodile breath, bringing our breath down into our abdominal belly, making two big C shapes with our hands. The thumbs are going to go in the back so that we're palpating on the low back musculature. Index fingers are wrapping around the front so that you're feeling into your abdominal musculature on the front. Palms are pressing into the sides. Hands are below the rib cage and above the hip bone in that nice meaty section of the abdominal wall. And I want to feel that abdominal wall like you're squeezing into a balloon. We're creating resistance so that when we inhale, we are pressing in all directions. That inhale breath is pushing out forward into the index fingers, posterior into the thumbs, and out through the sides into the palms. With each exhale, we're going to squeeze the hands just a little bit to create more resistance so that we can really work that expansion out and away on our inhale. We'll get a good 5 to 6 nice, slow, deep breaths. And with each inhale, see if you can expand that wall a little bit wider than the previous. Start small. Exhale, let that belly draw all the way into the spine like you're trying to touch your spinal cord with your belly button. And then squeeze those hands, and then immediately fill up that wall. Feel those hands get pushed out with that inhale. Again, nice 3 to 4 second count in each direction of your breath. As you get to the 5th, 6th breath, let the arms drop down to the side, and we're going to get into our bowls of soup. We're still breathing into our crocodile breath. I still want to breathe in, feel that expansion out. Exhale, navel comes into spine. Let the hands drop down to the side. Spread your fingers as wide as you can. See if you can get nice stretch within the palms of your hands. Extend the elbows actively like you're trying to reach down to the floor, and then spiral the palms up to the ceiling. And from here, we're going to work one arm at a time, and we're going to go back and forth. We're going to spiral that right arm from palm up to the ceiling, spiraling it down, and continue to spiral it as far as you can, feeling that movement all the way up to the shoulder socket. We want to see if we can, how much can we spin the ball of that humerus within the socket of the shoulder. Once we spin it one direction, we're going to spiral that palm back up, and then do the same thing on the other side. Nice slow breaths. Exhale as you spiral the thumb down. Inhale as you spiral it up. Exhale as you go to the other side. Going nice and slow and smooth with each one. See if you can spin that humerus a little bit more. How far can you get that arm to spiral? Once you do 5 or so on each side, we're going to continue to spiral, but we're going to now let that movement come up into the shoulder. So as I spiral palm down and flipping that palm underneath, I'm now going to allow the shoulder blade to round up and forward. And then the same thing to the other side. Feel that nice spiral, taking that shoulder forward. It's going to start to kind of move us through our spine. It's like we're creating some kinks in the rest of our spine. As we go side to side, notice the difference of how this feels through the left shoulder compared to the right shoulder. Does one side feel clunkier, more grindy? Is it clicky? Want to make sure it is not painful. We're going to go ahead and let our arms drop down to the side again. I'm still keeping those palms turned up to the ceiling. I'm going to change my chair orientation on this one. Now we're going to work forward and backwards, both hands moving together. Same bowls of soup. So I'm starting palms up with my arms at my side, and then I'm going to spiral palms down as I reach forward, allowing both shoulders to round as we do so. Inhale, letting the arms drop back down to the side and spiraling up to the ceiling. Feel that chest open up and lift. Feel the sternum lift. See how tall can you get through the front of the chest as you inhale, and then see how rounded can you get through your upper back as you exhale. After about 5 of those, we're going to relax our arms and just let our arms come down to our side. We're going to, staying with our same breath, inhale into that crocodile breath. We're now going to focus just on pelvic tilt. So we can just let our hands rest on our knees. We're going to inhale, filling up that belly. Allow the pelvis to tilt forward so that we get a little bit of sway in our low back. On the exhale, we're continuing to draw that belly into our spine like we're touching our spinal cord with our belly button. Allow the pelvis to scoop. I'm not moving the shoulders. Shoulders are staying kind of soft and relaxed. Inhale takes us into the belly. Feel that pelvis tilt forward. I want to move as much as we can into this sway back position without going into pinch or pain. So limit the movement. If it's sore and painful, go slow. Don't let that pain elevate beyond a level 1 or a 2 on the scale of 0 to 10. Light discomfort, not going into sharp pain. We want to stay away from sharp pain at all costs right now. Exhale, nice scoop as you draw that navel in. As long as you're not moving into pain, if this is a non-painful range of motion, then I want to really exaggerate. How far can you scoop the pelvis? Can you get a nice, comfy, juicy stretch in that low back? How much can you breathe in and fill up that belly, getting a big sway in your back without pinch or pain? Can you feel some stretch through the abdominal wall on your inhale? Now we're going to come back and we're going to add in that last bit that we did with the shoulders. Arms are at the side as we're nice and tall. Palms are turned up to the ceiling on our inhale. Nice big sway in the back. Exhale, draw the navel in as you scoop, and hands are reaching forward as the palms spiral down, getting nice and rounded in both the low back and the upper back. Inhale, arms come back down to the side as the palms spiral up to the ceiling. Start to let your eyes get fixated on the wall straight in front of you so that your face stays and head stays in the same position as the rest of your body is moving through basically a seated cat-cow. With each one, see if you can reach those furthers a little forward while scooping the pelvis. Notice how my head and my shoulders, for the most part, stay in alignment over my hips. I don't want to fold forward on this, and I don't want to be leaning back through the shoulders. I'm trying to get the spine to move through its cat-cow with the hips and the head in the same alignment. We're getting the spine to move back and forth through its pendulum. On the next one, as we get nice and tall, I want to stay in this tall position, keeping those palms spiraled up towards the ceiling. Feel the shoulder blades pack down on your back. Feel that chest lifting up. We're now going to bring some inhale breath into our upper chest. Keeping those palms up. So on the inhale, we're breathing up into this chest area. On the exhale, we're letting the chest relax. We're continuing to draw the navel into the spine, but we're maintaining this same position. Inhale, breathe up into that chest. Exhale, keep the position, draw the navel in. Now I want to add a little bit of squeeze through our shoulders. So as we inhale, our palms are already up, but turn into it. Squeeze up to the ceiling even more. I'm trying to spiral those arms a little bit more back as I'm breathing in, trying to get a little bit more lift through the upper chest. As I exhale, I'm holding the position. On the next inhale, I'm actively squeezing that rotation through the arms as I inhale. There's not a lot of movement going on here, but I'm trying to get a little bit more inhale to expand up into the chest. And I'm using the arms to kind of cinch it down, cinch the shoulder blades down, so that that breath can only go up into that chest. After about 5 breaths, we're going to go ahead and let the arms come back through their regular cat-cow range. Reach forward as you exhale. Inhale as you come back to tall. We'll do 3 full breaths, going back and forth. Again, I'm back into our seated cat-cows. On the third one, as you exhale, reaching forward, arms spiraling down. I'm going to turn sideways on this. We're going to hold this position now. I'm reaching down. My thumbs are turned down to the floor. Nice stretch through the upper back. Nice scoop through the pelvis. We're now going to inhale into our upper back. Inhale, fill up that upper back. Exhale, draw the navel in and hold our position on our inhale. Inhale, see if you can feel some stretch as you try to fill up that upper back area. And just like we did with the previous one, as we inhale, I want to now kind of turn those thumbs and the arms, spiral them in order to create more tension in that upper back as we're inhaling into it. Exhale. We get to turn into it a little bit more. We're maintaining that position. We'll get 3 to 5 nice breaths. On the next exhale, inhale, we're going back all the way through our inhale, or full cat-cow. Inhale into the chest. Exhale, nice reach. Go ahead and let your hands come down to the side, and we're going to grab the base, the bottom of our seat, and press your shoulders down. I'm going to pull from my hands to feel the shoulder blades slide down the upper back. Spiral the elbow pits out and away to help those shoulder blades pack down and get that same lift through the chest. Kind of getting into that same position we were just in. And we're going to come back and work on that breath into that upper chest again. Inhale into the upper chest as we're cinching the shoulder blades down. Nice exhale. Feel the shoulders kind of relax, but maintain the position. And now we're going to get into our neck mobility. So I want to keep the eyes open for neck mobility right now. So start with your eyes on a fixed point, and we're going to check our blind spot. So we're going to take our eyes and we're going to see how far can we turn and look over our right shoulder, squeezing into it slowly, making sure it's not painful. Inhales coming back forward. and then exhale, doing the same thing on the other side. Let's see how far can you get your eye gaze to go. How far behind you can you turn without moving your shoulders? I don't want shoulders rotating back and forth. Shoulder blades are locked down into the chair. I cannot rotate. I can only turn my head to see how far can I get my eyes to look, how far behind me can I see looking over my left shoulder and looking over my right shoulder. This is a really big one as far as what is the difference on the right side compared to the left side. We're still breathing into our crocodile breath. Exhale, drawing that navel into spine. We'll come back to center. Now we're going to work on our tilt and lift. So I want a light tilt. I don't want to drop my ear all the way down to the shoulder. I'm just barely tilting it opposite ear. I'm imagining I'm lifting that ear in order to touch the ceiling as I exhale. Inhale, comes back to center, tilt to the other side, exhale as we lift. I want to keep the hands pulling down on this, especially on the side that you're lifting from. I don't want that shoulder to shrug as you're lifting. If anything, add a little bit more downward traction through using your hand to pull as you lightly lift. Keep it smooth, keep it soft. I don't want to force it. But notice how well can you do this on the right side compared to the left side? In what ways do they feel the same, and in what ways do they feel different? And we're going to work a little bit of light breath into this upper neck region, working through that same position. So we're going to lift that ear up to the ceiling, and we're going to hold it for 1 to 3 breaths. And with those inhale breaths, I very specifically want to see if we can bring the intentionality of that breath into this neck, upper shoulder area, around the clavicle on the side. I'm starting on my right side. So I'm tilting my head to the left, lifting up with that right ear. Inhale is coming into the clavicle or into the neck right above the clavicle. Exhale, I'm still drawing the navel into the spine for 2 or 3 breaths. I don't want this to be stressful, so if it needs to be 1 breath, start with 1 and then we can go back and forth. We're then going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Find that nice lift, find where you're in the stretch, holding that position, and then very intentionally bringing that breath to around the clavicle into that lower neck right above the clavicle area. Exhale, maintain that position as you lift that ear up to the ceiling. And then I want to go back and forth between sides again. Inhale as you lift to the right. Exhale as you come to center. Inhale as you lift to the left. Sorry, I got those backwards. We're exhaling as we lift. Exhale as you lift. Inhale as you come back to center. If you found that beneficial, if you got a little bit more, felt like you got more breath into that area or the range of motion improved, that is something that you can come back and focus some breath work into that area for 1 to 3 reps, and then come back doing both sides again. That can be really beneficial as far as getting the neck to open up and move a little bit better. Last one we're going to do are shallow neck rolls. Allow the chin to drop down to the chest. We're going to let the right ear roll to the right shoulder, staying very shallow. I don't want to go deep. Let our gaze move up to the ceiling, then our left ear to the left shoulder, and then chin back down to chest. And we're going to smooth out those 4 points and turn it into a circle. And as we do so, we can very slowly start to get deeper into the neck roll as long as it is not painful. And if you feel some crackliness in the neck, as long as it doesn't hurt, I want to de-crackle the crackle. I want to move into that crackly nature. If it is painful, then we need to back off to where it is not painful. The sound itself, I am less concerned with. It is the sensation of pain that I want to be hyper-focused on. Once you've done 5 rolls in one direction, we're going to reverse directions, and we're going to start shallow again. So start easy, chin to chest, ear to shoulder, gaze to ceiling, ear to shoulder, chin back to chest. And then start to smooth out those 4 points to make it more of a circle. I want to make sure that we're also continuing to pull the shoulder blades down on this. If you notice that one shoulder wants to shrug up, that means you're going too deep into the neck roll. So make the roll smaller and lock those shoulders down. And what you'll probably notice is right at the edge of where that shoulder wants to lift is a little bit of a discomfortable spot. Maybe it's super tight and you just didn't notice how tight it was because the shoulder was actually taking that tension away from it by shrugging. By locking that shoulder down, we get to expose that tightness a little bit more. So I want to be very soft with it and make sure it's not painful. Usually that shoulder shrug is hiding a pain pattern. All right, we're now going to switch into our side body position on the chair. Backrest is now to my left side. Left hip is on the chair, right hip is off of the chair. I want the knee directly under the hip, and we got the toes tucked underneath. We're going to come back into our breath, breathing into our belly. Feel that expansion of crocodile breath. Exhale, drawing navel into the spine. I want to feel fairly loaded on this big back toe. Feel like that toe is engaged with the floor. Have a little pressure through it, as if you're going to drive off of it into a dead sprint. That's the kind of load I want. That load means the quad's going to be a little bit more engaged. As we inhale into the belly, allow that pelvis on that side to turn forward so that we get nice and sway in our low back. As we exhale, draw that navel into your spine and scoop the pelvis. And I want to scoop into our loaded foot so that we feel that quad kind of light up. Can you feel a stretch through the front of the hip? Inhale, lets that pelvis go. We get that nice sway in the back. Exhale, scoop into that loaded quad. If you feel a stretch in the front here, can you move more into that stretch with each one? Notice your big toe as well. Do you get a stretch in your big toe on your foot? I want to make sure it is not painful. Once you've done 5, even up to 10 reps, we're going to switch to the other side. Again, lock that big toe. Knee is directly under the hip. Inhale, filling up that belly. Let that pelvis tilt forward. Exhale, draw the navel in. Again, make sure you got load pressing into that foot so that you feel your quad is lit up and engaged. And then scooping into it, can you feel some stretch? Inhale takes us into our sway back crocodile breath. Exhale, navel into spine. Feel that load. Can you feel it in the big toe as well? We'll switch back to the other side. And we're going to do the same movement. Same inhale, sway back, exhale, scoop. Except I'm going to add in letting the hip drop. I want to feel that hip drop below the level of the opposite hip. Now, if you find that your knee is already touching the ground, you can add a bolster to your chair or find something that gets you a little bit higher so that your knee is not touching the floor. So inhale. Inhale fills up that belly. Exhale, as we draw the navel in, we're also allowing that hip to drop to the floor, or the knee to drop down. Does not have to touch the floor. I only want a little bit of a drop. As we inhale, we're bringing that hip back up into our sway back. Exhale, navel draws in as we reach that hip down. Once you've done 5 on this side, again, making sure that we are avoiding pain, we're going to switch to the other side. If any of this is painful, then you need to back off. This is where I schedule a consultation with me. If you've got back pain in your back associated with these movements, this is where I want to talk to you about what's going on. Nice inhale, filling up that crocodile breath. Exhale, drawing navel into the spine as we very softly reach that hip down lightly. Inhale, bringing it back up into our sway. Exhale, navel comes in as we reach that hip down. Again, my goal is not to touch the floor with my knee. If it touches, that's fine, but I don't want to touch and rest. I want to have good control. I'm trying to reach the hip down through the knee. I want to feel this activity working through my abdominal core. I don't want to just get lazy and plop that knee down. Good. After 5, we're going to switch back to the other side. We're going to do the exact same thing, dropping that hip, except now we're going to take the same side hand and we're going to reach up to the ceiling at the same time. On our inhale, we're lifting the hip back up and we're softening the shoulder, filling up the belly into our crocodile breath, into our sway back. Exhale, navel to spine as we drop the hip and elevate the shoulder. I want to reach this shoulder higher than the other shoulder at the same time that I'm dropping this shoulder lower, or this hip lower than the other hip. Inhale brings them back to level. Exhale, shoulders higher, hip is lower. Can you feel length between shoulder into that low back above the hip? After 5, we'll switch and do the same thing on the other side. So again, hip is dropping on our exhale, shoulder is elevating on our exhale. Inhale brings them back to parallel with one another. Shoulders are even, hips are even, filling up the belly, nice sway in the back. Exhale, navel to spine as we scoop, reach the knee, reach the shoulder. Notice if you get a similar stretch on this side of that side body between shoulder and above the hip in the low back area. Is it different on this side compared to the other side? The differences are relevant, so I want to really pay attention to them. We're going to switch back to the other side. We're going to do the same movement with the hip, dropping the hip on the exhale. But now for the upper body, we're going to bring our arms across so that we're touching opposite shoulders in order to help keep our chest square. Now, as we drop our hip, we're going to also rotate our chest as much as we can towards the back of our chair. So inhale, our hips are parallel, chest is square to facing front. Exhale, drops the hip, and we rotate our chest towards the back of the chair. Inhale brings us back to the center. Exhale, drop the hip as you rotate. We're still getting that nice scoop as well. So as we exhale, we're scooping because we're drawing the navel in, dropping the hip, and rotating at the same time. Once you've got 5 on this side, we're going to switch back to the other side. Do the same thing. So nice tucked big toe, arms are crossed. Inhale, filling up that crocodile breath. Nice sway in the back. Exhale, scoop the pelvis as you draw the navel in, drop the hip, and rotate towards the back of the chair. Inhale, hips come back to parallel, chest is forward. Exhale, scoop, drop the hip, and then rotate. Again, how does this side feel that's different than the opposite side was? After 5, we're going to come back to regular sit on the chair, feet nice and flat. Coming back to our crocodile breath. Nice big C shapes with our hands. Hands go below the ribs, above the hip bone. Thumbs in the back, index fingers in the front. And again, each inhale, we're trying to expand the balloon so that we're pushing into the thumbs, index fingers, and palms of the hand. Exhale, allow the hand to cinch down in order to create more resistance for your inhale so that we can really work that inhale breath. We'll get a good 5, 6 nice slow breaths with each breath. See if you can fill up that wall a little bit wider. And since this is the last thing we're doing, I also want to have a little bit more of an assessment mindset into this. Notice how even that breath fills up. Does it move as well to the right side of your body as it does to your left side, especially through the palms and into that thumb? If it's different on the left and the right, that's important. So I want to pay attention to that as best that we can. As you're inhaling and exhaling, notice your shoulders. Since we have our hands in this position, shoulders are probably creating some tension on the inhale. You can let them soften on the exhale. Inhale's kind of filling up into tension. Allow that tension to rinse off. Allow the shoulders to soften and drop on the exhale. Once you get to your 5 or 6 breaths, you can let your arms drop down to the side. Let's get a few more breaths, not just through the abdominals, but also bringing it up into the chest, into the neck, up into the upper back. Just last little kind of check-in. Again, with filling up, breathing into tension in the body. Exhale, feel that tension release all the way through, like you're sending it through your legs and you're shooting it down into the earth. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, kind of check in with your body. Make sure you're not dizzy or lightheaded before you're ready to kind of get up and see how you're feeling.